Welcome to Murphy, Sam, and Jodi after the show.
I want to talk about death today.
Wow, so
okay.
happy talk.
It is
I see.
a part of life. Well, it is a part of life.
The last
I'm
part.
comfortable with death talk, I guess.
Well, if
The
it's
only
coming
reason-
from you, I'm guessing there's going to be a funny aspect to this.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll get there. I hope we do because, when my dad passed away, there's a difference between elderly people or senior citizens or older people passing away and
Yes.
people that
You don't
they're
expect.
too young yet.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, I agree.
completely.
Yeah.
And
More jarring to the system when they're too young.
my senior class in high school, we have our own little Facebook group, so we all kind of keep together. There's there were 210 of us when we graduated.
Yeah.
In the past week, 2 kids have died. And I'd say kids, but I mean they're
Class
both
members.
2 class members.
Peers.
One heart attack, the other I don't know. It was just posted last night that he died.
Wow. Sorry.
And when that stuff happens, it's like,
Yes.
okay, now it's real. Now, and I know we've lost a couple class members over the past 20, 30 odd years, but now it's like, okay, 2 in a week.
Yeah.
We all going to start, mortality kicks in.
Yeah. We all are going to start. I think when you
Yeah.
start living is when that's possible.
But
I
you're right.
mean-
You're right about that being the thing that brings reality to you because,
Yes.
I mean, I know one of the first classmates that I had died, while we were in high school. And
Me too.
Wow.
And that was just really, and I think he was in the 11th grade, and it was unexpected illness. I mean, it's one of those rare things, but that was
Even
my first
that.
experience with that with somebody who's my same age. In 11th grade, boy, that's way too young. You know what I mean? Any age, I guess, is too young like that. But yeah, it's weird. I think that's, see, this is philosophical. We're not
It's okay.
designed. We're not designed to die. We're designed to live, right? That's the human nature. Is that so? It's the polar opposite. What?
Did you read
There's
that?
the comedy. See, he got it.
Did you read that somewhere?
Well,
We're
no,
not designed to die. We're designed to live.
well, I mean, I guess I
love
read
it.
that a long time ago. I mean, that's what. I mean, life in its natural state wants to thrive. I mean, it's so.
There's another one right there.
So
Murphy's just cranking them out.
I guess
You
what
know
I'm
what?
I'm trying to say, it's an instinct, even if you weren't thinking about it.
Yes.
It puts a dose of reality to you because it's the opposite of what is supposed to happen, right?
It is the reason
Right.
that as people get older, they do get wiser just about life in general. It is why your heart softens naturally or whatever they say, because that's why older people can go, "Ugh, it's just a car. It's just money, it's not the end of the world. Because you've got that life experience and you also know, you feel that your days are numbered. You feel it.
Yeah.
As opposed to when you're 21 and you have
You're invincible.
all this time ahead of you.
Yeah.
It almost feels like too much time. Like you rush
Well-
everything. You can't wait to be this or that.
So you focus on the present, to get you back and focus on the present moment, which is actually a very healthy, good thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, there is another level of this, and I haven't experienced that yet, and that's when classmates that I am still very good friends with start passing.
Sure.
Because then, I mean, like these 2 guys that died, I know who they were. I saw them in class every day, and it's like, hadn't really talked to them in years.
Yeah.
So it's like it hits home as in the age, and in, that's my peer group.
Yeah.
But and it hasn't happened yet, but one of my close friends, if one of them passes away, then it's really going to be like,
Yeah. It's going to be
wow,
hard for
not
you.
just a kid in my class.
Well, I often wonder how my grandmother was able to get through that time in her life because she outlived everybody.
Yeah,
in her.
yeah.
She outlived, all of her peers as far as family members, friend groups, cousins. She lived to be 97 years old. Now, of course, she still stayed when she was still, in the mind to be able to do so, which really was up until nearly the end, she still stayed connected, though, to everybody socially, whether it was with a phone call, whether it was in person, sons, grandsons, daughters,
And wait,
granddaughters, all that.
I think that may have been one of the keys to her longevity.
I think so.
I
Yeah.
believe in social connection. It's so important, Sam. So remember to stay connected.
That might be what keeps my mom going, too.
Yeah.
Because, she still does that monthly dinner with the girls, and
You
over the
have to.
years, some of the girls have, passed away.
But yeah.
Well,
of course.
as Morgan Freeman says, get busy living
Okay, God.
or get
Cliche
busy dying.
man
At least
today.
we know where that one came from.
Right. But, so my grandmother, her younger sister and her were close. They were like 9 years apart from each other. And when her younger sister was sick in her early 70s, she took her to the doctor every single day, and she had her cancer treatments every day. And this is somebody who was really close to her. She called her Bets. Betty was her name. And so they were just tight. They always were. And I think probably because of the 9-year age difference between the two of them, that my grandmother really felt somewhat, not maternal, that's the wrong word, but you know what I'm saying? It's right.
Yeah.
An extra sense of needing anyone to care for her. But they went through everything together. My aunt, I say Betty, she wasn't really my aunt. She technically was my great aunt. Betty was the one, her sister was the one that when my grandfather was having his heart attack before he passed away, very long time ago, she was the one that he contacted, and she took him to the hospital because my grandmother wasn't available at that time. Now, this is the late 70s. It's not like there were smartphones or anything like that. So, but, Betty was one of those who was at the epicenter of the family for everything. So when Betty passed away, and my grandmother was 84, I think, at that time, which, look, you're still cranking, when you're 84 like that. Yeah. That changed her. I watched that one really change her more than a lot of them, because for her, I think that was that point in her life where she'd already lost her husband, which was the most painful thing for her to go through 30 years before. But when she lost her, her younger sister, I saw that make a change in her. But she still did the same thing that Jodi was talking about. She faced forward and, stayed involved with the family and all that kind of stuff, and had a very balanced look at things. You could see she was frustrated by it,
Yeah.
But she was balanced. Because I remember her telling me, honey, how did I get to be 90? And what she was meaning by that is like, I'm still here. Where's everybody else?
She was a healthy, mentally healthy person.
She was, yes.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that has a lot to do with her longevity too. The connectivity, but also she was just right with her own self and good to herself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Jodi, I think that you are balanced because it's a heck of a situation to go through. But when you lost your dad at 16, you appear to me to be very balanced when it comes to that, because there are things that we'll talk about at home, and you're like, well, that is life. And I was like,
Get over it.
You're right, Jodi. It actually is, part of life. But
what?
I was just going to say, going back to what you said earlier, though, I find as I'm getting older, it is, things don't matter as much anymore.
Yeah.
I was a tightly wound, I'm probably still in some respects.
You are a little tightly wound.
Tightly wound person.
Yeah.
But there are things, and I don't know if it was the last divorce and now being single for a long period of time, but it's like there are things where it's just like, well.
Let it go.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it, right? Nobody wants to grow older. It would be great to be young forever, but as you get older, you do get the benefit of chilling out, hopefully. You learn so much more. Yeah. You understand to appreciate everything. You appreciate your friendships more, all of that. That's why so many older people are just not wound up and worried, like you said.
Yeah, I think having Hollis too as a grandchild helped a little with that too, because it's like, well, I don't really have to overstress about this one because I can give him back.
Yeah, and love him, make him rotten, and then give him back.
That's right.
It is your job and right to do that. But when your peers, I call them peers,
well, they are,
I guess, start passing away, you can't help. We're all human, so we're all. I'm not narcissistic is not the right word, but you always, when something goes on, as you should protect yourself and think of yourself and be self-aware.
Yeah, I think it's a very human thing.
That's what you are. You're being self-aware. It's like, this means, what does this mean for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it also changes your comfort zone, because we all there's been a bazillion books written on how to handle change and all that, and that's another thing that
I've
I think
never read one of them.
Well, I know, but you handle change. That's why you don't need to read them.
I know, sweetie.
Sorry. But like the thing is, nobody likes any of that change ever. We grow. What our comfort zone is that's totally human too. It's very challenging to get out of that. So when something changes that for us that we didn't want changed in the first place, it jars you.
You're right, because up until now, I haven't really lost any.
You didn't care.
Honestly, when you get down to it, yeah. And now that 2 in a week, it's like, okay, it's serious now.
It is.
And I know it's been serious,
Yes,
but
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, that wakes
Your
you up.
eyes have been open. Enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I may not be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Should we do 2 podcasts just in case?
As long as you tell me that you're not like keeping track of these in the yearbook.
Oh, Sam.
No, actually, for the first one that died a week or so ago, I had to go back to the yearbook to see what he looked like because they have the current picture, and it's like not ringing a bell. But then when you go back, it's like, oh,
I know, because that's your association. That's your association. All right. Are we done with therapy for today?
I asked Murphy if he's got any more lines.
No, I'm happy. Let's go out and get busy living.
Yeah.
Missed any part of the show? Get it all at murphysamandjody.com.